No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Minuk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
The dream of a perfect season for the Winnipeg Jets is dead. The dream of a perfect season for the Dallas Stars continues unabated. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show brought to you by our friends at Betway, with Dave Minuk, with Ezra Ginsburg, resplendent in an icy toque there, I might add. I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to break down tonight's Dallas Stars 4-1 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets drop to 1-1 on the season. The Dallas Stars continue, as I mentioned, to be undefeated. Gentlemen, good to see you both on this Monday night. How are you both doing?
Doing well, boys. Doing well. Yeah, obviously the perfect season is dead, as you mentioned, Drew. But I think we knew that it was going to be tough for the Jets to go undefeated on this road trip. You're facing a couple of playoff teams from last year, but all three of these teams can be playoff teams this year. And then you've got Toronto, of course, at home on Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, this game started off well, but starting with the play in the second period, the Jets kind of took the foot off the gas, didn't have a lot of chances. What did they have? 6 shots in that second period. But look, give Dallas a lot of credit. I certainly didn't necessarily see, a 3-0 start coming from the Stars, considering they played the Predators back-to-back to start the season. But, this is a team that, can hurt you in a variety of different ways. And starting in net with Jake Ottinger, right? Like we saw how many big saves he made there, especially in the third period, and he was solid throughout. So, but there's a lot the Jets have to still work on. I think we'll get into the goals, and we'll talk about Logan Stanley, because I'd be shocked if Dylan Sandberg's not in the lineup Wednesday versus Colorado.
We will get into all that over the course of the next hour or so as we break down tonight's game. A man who brightens up my life on a daily basis, and he's clearly got a brighter room than before as he's trying to blind us with that neon light behind him. Dave M., welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Thank you, Drew. It was a gift. So, you never turn on a gift. It says that we're live. I'm hoping that people will see it. It creates like that blue effect. There's that good remix of the song Blue. I think it's David Guetta who does that. So maybe I'm trying to be contemporary, and it lights up the Manitoba Moose antlers. So I think it's kind of keeping with that theme, that side over there. And then of course we've got the fireball lights that are going to be lit up fairly soon. So lots of stuff happening. A lot of background things are happening here on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. Bringing you guys contests, bringing you guys lots of fun stuff throughout the course of the season, including this show. So I'm jazzed about that. Let's put it that way.
Let's stay tuned for Wednesday's post-game show where Dave dresses up as a member of the Blue Man Group, so we can all have that to look forward to.
In my fireball onesie.
I think we're all the winners in that case. No matter what happens in the outcome of the game on Wednesday night, if that comes to fruition, we are all undoubtedly the winners. Guys, they're and we'll get into the goals, and we'll get into the flow of the game, of course, in the course of this post-game show. You saw a lot of similarities to some of the troubles that the Jets had last year in the course of today's game, and anyone who thought that those were going to be gone from their game, in the course of one with victory over the New York Rangers, again, was probably a little bit too glass half full. But you did see some concerning aspects of the game, and that's why it's very much likely going to be a one step forward, maybe a step and a half back kind of year for the Jets as they're trying to find themselves, trying to get back into playing consistently the type of hockey, the brand of hockey, and the style of hockey that is necessary to be victorious more often than not. Tonight wasn't it. Tonight you saw a Dallas Stars team who really, I thought, was able to impose their will upon the Winnipeg Jets, maybe with the exception of the first 10 minutes of the game where the Jets obviously jumped out to that lead. But other than that, this was Dallas, I thought, fairly toying with the Jets for the most part.
Yeah, there's a few things that you don't like about this game. I mean, starting with the power play, right? Like, clearly the Jets have a ton of skill on the power play, but the power play was just off tonight. They had some chances, but I think you look no better than, the 4-minute double minor on Neil Pionk. That was the result of the high stick on Neil Pionk, I should say. And what did the Jets have? 2 shots? Like, I'm not sure exactly how many shots. It just, look, you could say that the game was over at that point. But if you score a goal on the first, 2 minutes, who knows what happens, right? So I think the power play let them down tonight. But again, when you're going up against a Dallas Stars team who obviously has a lot of confidence, they're at home. I mean, this is a Stars team that knows that the Jets are going to be one of those teams that they're battling with, along with, the Predators and the Wild and a bunch of other teams in the Central. You throw St. Louis in there as well, right? There wasn't enough sustained offense, sustained pressure, whatever you want to say, Drew. There just wasn't enough of it, right? And yeah, like you look at the first period, and I'm sure we'll break the goal down a little bit more, but it was a pretty straightforward goal. Like, that's all Kyle Connor's speed and Mark Scheifele's shot, right? Like, Connor just backs everybody up. It was Ryan Suter and Ty Dellandrea, if I'm not mistaken. Dellandrea was the one who was covering Scheifele. Obviously didn't cover him very well because he was pretty wide open and had a great one-timer. And Morgan Barron, that block shot that stands out to me, and then he raced to the puck, and I don't even know if he ended up getting credited with a shot on goal, Dave, but you could see his speed. I love when guys block a shot and then go get it and have a partial breakaway, right? So there were some things to like. Nikolai Ehlers was flying around. In the second period, he did a couple of his tours around the world, around the zone there. So Ehlers was strong, Connor was strong. Like, we know that first line is always going to be driving the Jets. This game, though, what also stood out to me was the second line, Perfetti, Dubois and Wheeler. I just didn't think they had it tonight, right? Like, again, there were a few scoring chances, but for the majority of this game, like, where was that line, right? Like, you just didn't really see them having an impact on the ice. And I agree with you, Drew. Like, give Dallas a lot of credit here. Like, they're not 3-0 by accident. Like, whether they end up finishing second, third, fourth, or fifth in the Central and end up missing the playoffs, there's a lot of talent on the Stars team. And yeah, sure, John Klingberg, you miss his offense, but I was telling Dave as we were watching the third period here, like, I'll still take that defense any day, led by Miro Heiskanen. Esa Lindell's a really good defenseman. And, Ryan Suter, he might be, in the back nine of his career here, but, on the third pair, he's pretty good, even if, he was burnt a little bit on the Jets' first goal. So this Dallas Stars team is built, obviously, in net out. And they might not be the deepest team at forward, but, that first line of Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, and Joe Pavelski, I mean, that's a bona fide top line. And with last change, you saw that line up against the Scheifele line a lot. And I thought the Rupe Hintz line outplayed the Scheifele line. Or I guess if you want to call it the Jason Robertson line, whatever you want to call it.
I would agree with your assessment there, as you mentioned in passing some of the goals. Why don't we get into it? The Betway game recap brought to you by Betway, one of the most trusted voices in sports betting, both in Canada and all around the world. And of course, the title sponsor here of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront, with a large selection of betting options in sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds. What are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. The good vibes did get started for the Jets. You couldn't ask for a much better start than what they got, controlling the flow of the play for the first few minutes, taking it to the Dallas Stars, and getting rewarded on the score sheet as well. Mark Scheifele off to a hot start this year. That's now 3 goals for him in the first 2 games. Assist to Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers, and this is exactly what you want to see from the Jets top line. They use their speed and as a weapon. And that's, it starts with a turnover just inside the Jets just inside the Jets blue line, or Nikolai Ehlers transitions the puck and he puts it on brings it up the ice to Kyle Connor, and Kyle Connor hits the Stars line and tees up Mark Scheifele with an absolute bullet, Dave. And it's 1-0 for the Jets. A very good start to the game for them.
Yeah, it was a good start, Drew. And that's exactly what this team needed, was Mark Scheifele to be, what have we been talking about? You need Mark Scheifele to be your driver. And he's looked refreshed, and he's looked engaged, and he's looked like the Mark Scheifele of old. And 3 goals early in the game too. You're thinking to yourself, well, Mark Scheifele is just riding, and Kyle Connor looked good on the pass. And I mean, really, Andre had no chance on that slap shot from on Scheifele. I mean, he went top corner on that one. It was phenomenal. So to me, it was as good a start as you could have from a Jets team that was really taking it to Dallas. Like, they looked like they were ready to go right from puck drop. And both teams had their legs, and both teams had, I don't know what Dallas's day looked like yesterday in terms of whether they practiced or not, but both teams had some time between games. So there's no excuses in that regard, right? The Dallas only played 2 games. The Jets had obviously the one. So you liked that start because the Jets looked hungry. The Jets looked like they were buzzing a little bit. And then there's a bit of a sag. Things don't go for them the way they want. And they're not really able, like they kind of maintained in that first, but relied, of course, on Connor Hellebuyck, who was good in the first period, I thought. And nothing Connor Hellebuyck could do on that goal. I mean, if your forwards aren't going to commit to playing defense, and if you're going to allow Tyler Seguin, the one guy probably more than anyone who you cannot afford to lose sight of, and Pierre-Luc Dubois, I don't know why on the broadcast they were blaming Manalainen. He may gotten a little bit of his signals crossed with the defenseman. I get that. And the puck obviously ended up in a bad spot and ended up on the back of, on Tyler Seguin's stick and then in the back of the net. But Pierre-Luc Dubois is like
he's late.
Paying attention. He's not paying attention. Like he looks to
it's not even late. He was right there with him.
Yeah, he was right beside him.
Standing there right with Tyler Seguin right there.
He just lost sight of where Tyler Seguin was. And unfortunately, that just goes to show you how quick hockey is, because Dubois is with him. As he just said, there's no question. They're right beside each other. And then Dubois loses sight of Seguin, doesn't know what's going on. By the time he looks back, Sagan's already passed him, and he's wide open. And when he's wide open, Connor Hellebuyck has zero chance. And all of a sudden, a 1-0 game that you're in control of becomes 1-0.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Drew, obviously it was late in the sense that by the time Seguin had made his move to the net, Dubois didn't react, right? And it's easy for us to say this, right? Like Pierre-Luc Dubois, hey, we love PLD, like good center. But on that particular play, I mean, you just can't, like Seguin had 3 assists in his first game against Nashville. I'm not sure how many points he had in his second game. I remember asking Mike Heika on Saturday's show about Seguin. Like, to me, Seguin looks like a guy who knows that kind of there has been that passing of the torch, right? Like guys like Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, Dennis Gurianov, all the young guys, Heiskanen. He knows that Dellandrea, I mean, I really like Dellandrea. I thought he had a really good game. Obviously made the pass over to Seguin, but it was, again, poor defensive coverage. And look, there's going to be poor defensive coverage in most games by both teams, right? All 32 teams, you could probably look at most of their games, but
do those mistakes end up in the back of the net?
Exactly. And it wasn't Hellebuyck's fault. And Hellebuyck was good tonight. You're not going to fault him on any of the goals or most of the goals. But on that particular case, I mean, that was a very easy goal for Tyler Seguin.
Yeah, and so that came at the 10:20 mark of the first period. That was his first of the season for Seguin, assisted Dellandrea and Mason Marchment. And again, it's just, you can't let players of this caliber be all alone in that kind of prime scoring opportunity and not expect to get burnt off and on it. And that's, very reminiscent of the Jets last year, not sort of, what's my go-to phrase? Attention to detail. And that's just exactly what that is. Again, a lack of attention to detail ends up in behind the Winnipeg Jets. After 20 minutes, it was 1-1. So the Jets, certainly were the better of the two teams, I would say, for the first, let's say 5 to 7 minutes of the first period. And then the Dallas Stars took control for the latter half of that first period. But what was the second period going to bring? Well, it brought more of the same of what we saw in the first period. Thought it was a bit of a sleepy start to the second period. Not much happening either way for both teams. For a while their shots were like 12 all, maybe halfway through the second period. But then the Stars, after the Jets kill off a penalty to Adam Lowry, the Stars get the goal from Hakanpää at the 15:38 mark. It was an absolute bullet of a shot, assist to Ryan Suter, and Mason Marchment getting his second of the year, and it's 2-1 Dallas at that point in time. And then you feel as though the Jets are a little bit behind the 8 ball at this point, Ezzy.
Yeah, and again, I just mentioned I wouldn't really blame Hellebuyck for any of the goals tonight. That might be the one goal.
Yeah, short side.
You could see, Logan Stanley, again, I'm not going to make this all about Logan Stanley here, but he's battling, I think it was Tyler Seguin, if I remember correctly, in front of the net, and was providing they were both, I guess, making it difficult for Hellebuck to see that shot. I actually, thought it might have gone off of, there might have been a deflection or something like that off of Logan Stanley. And I didn't watch the replay close enough to see it, but that was just one of those goals that, it was either, unlucky in that Hellebuck didn't see all of it, or it went off of stick or went off of skate. But definitely Stanley and Seguin in front of Hellebuck deflected him enough. And give, Hakanpää credit here. Like, he's a big guy. He's got a decent shot, but he's not exactly, Rocket Richard winner here. So, I mean, that goal was, just one of those goals you can't really overthink and overanalyze that one.
No, they're not. I mean, again, Logan Stanley is a lightning rod right now, because I think a lot of people perceive his spot in the lineup as they're not really sure why he's in the lineup. And last game he had a glaring error.
Drew, for the record, not that they're not the only ones. The Jets social media had Dylan Sandberg in the lineup and not Logan Stanley. So it seems like a lot of people aren't necessarily so certain about that.
Yeah, but I mean, this is so and when you have the spotlight on you, it seems as though all of your minor errors, no matter how big or how small they are, become spotlighted. And this is certainly what I think Logan Stanley is experiencing right now.
And just wanted to get this in here too. It's not like we're all picking on Logan Stanley here. I think there's a few things at play here, and I know you want to get into the next goal, Drew, but Dylan Sandberg has been waiting years. Like, not just a year, he's been waiting, 3 or 4 years now for his chance at a regular NHL role. And I think in 15 games last year or whatever it was, he proved that he's an NHL defenseman. So I think that's what's in the backs of a lot of Jets fans' minds, is that Sandberg's ready to go here. Like, Sandberg's not an 18-year-old that you're hoping will fit in. And Dave would know this better than anybody, having watched almost all of his games with the Moose. And like, this is a guy who is ready to go here and ready to establish himself as a full-time NHLer. So he didn't play tonight, obviously, but I think most of us think there's a really good chance. We'll see. Maybe he doesn't go in against Colorado, but I would say there's a much better than 50% chance, closer to 90%, that Sandberg is going to be in the lineup. The play for me that I didn't like was the penalty that Sandberg took. Pardon me, the penalty that Stanley took, I should say, on Ty Dellandrea in the first period, because he was just beat there. Like, that was just Dellandrea beating him with speed, and then Stanley was forced to take the penalty. I didn't like that one. So for me, that might be, enough to see him come out of the lineup next game.
Well, and I mean, that wasn't the only penalty he took. He ended up taking, of course, the penalty that resulted in Heiskanen scoring on the power play. But we'll get to that one when we get.
Just maybe let me add on quickly.
Please.
You also have to remember, like, Logan Stanley isn't doing anything that is meriting keeping Dylan Sandberg in the press box, because the whole point is Dylan Sandberg is not like young by any stretch of the imagination, but he still needs to be playing minutes. And it's just a complete waste of a guy who's still waiver exempt. If you're not going to play him, if you're going to sit him in the press box, then throw him to the Moose, because this is ridiculous. It makes no sense. And he'd be fine. The Moose could use him. But the point I'm making is, obviously, I think he should be playing for the Winnipeg Jets, not the Manitoba Moose. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. Like, I can understand you won, you're feeling good about your team, so you're going to keep rolling. But what would make you feel good about this game that would think, what I really should do? I should keep rolling with this lineup. Nothing. So you don't do that, especially against Colorado. So you're going to have to make some changes. And one of those changes, an easy one for a coaching staff right now, is to put Dylan Sandberg into the lineup and bring out Logan Stanley.
Well, and I think that's you talk about the change. I mean, I think that's the change. That's the most obvious change that needs to be that should be made, or that could be made. I mean, the forward group wasn't anything to write home about, but I don't think any of the forwards, played at a point that they're at risk of losing their position right now. I mean, I don't know that anybody, another guy that got off waivers from Washington, Axel. I'm just going to call him
Axel Jonsson Fjällby.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to call him Axel to save myself some breath and some.
I mean, that's my Canadian way of saying his name. That's obviously not the proper Swedish way of saying his name, but I think I did a decent job.
You did a pretty good job. I'm going to stick with Axel because I'm lazy and that's the way I want to be.
Axel's just a solid name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him.
But they might be thinking you're talking about Axel Blomqvist.
Yeah, I'm confident that.
Shout out to former Bruin PJ Axelson.
Thank you both.
Or Axl Rose.
I think you guys know who I'm talking about.
Chinese democracy.
I think our audience is very smart. They know who I'm talking about. I don't see any reason that he's gonna immediately step in the lineup and bump out one of the forwards. Was the point? Was my point with that? Stars made it 3-1 It came about a minute and 50 seconds after they made it 2-1. It's Kiviranta. He gets his first assist to Esa Lindell, and it's again just this is the Jets being unable to clear the puck out of their own zone. They looked like they were going to have an easy breakout, turnover at the blue line, at their own blue line, and then it's just a scramble drill, and the Jets are unable to scramble enough, and it ends up in the back of the net. Again, how many times did we see that last year? We saw it time and time again, and a lot of the Jets' problems, a lot of the goals they've given up this season, albeit they've only given up 5 and so far, but a lot of them start with the inability to clear your own zone, which is not unique to the Jets by any stretch of the imagination, but it shows the perils of what happens when you can't get the puck out of your own zone, especially when you have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And we should mention that prior to Kiviranta getting that chance, I mean, the Stars had all of the pressure on the Jets, right? And I would have to go back and time it out, but I mean, Scheifele's line was on the ice, and they were just absolutely out of gas, right? Like they just didn't have anything left. Connor was barely moving, but you're right, Drew. Kiviranta has an unbelievable chance. The original shot that comes through, Hellebuck's bobbling it a little bit, and then he makes the save, and the Jets aren't able to control the puck or come anywhere close to clearing the puck. And I would have to go back and look who was responsible for Kiviranta. Brendan Dillon was on the ice, I know that.
Yeah.
But he was by the face-off dot, right? So I mean, it was just that play was ugly all over. You had 4 Jets, below the face-off circle. So it was just you had a tired group, and you just had the puck going all over the place, and the Jets were chasing around in their own zone. So everything about that period, everything about that goal was just bad. Like the second period against the Rangers was bad. This was much worse. Not only, just getting outshot, just the way that Dallas at times was able to enter the zone and just really do whatever they wanted. So yeah, I'm sure, the coaching staff is really going to focus on these 2 goals that the Jets allowed in the second period and just how they weren't aggressive enough. That's what we're hearing, guys, that Rick Bowness, Scott Arniel, the coaching staff wants the Jets to be aggressive, right? Dictate the pace, be relentless on the forecheck, cause the other team to have turnovers.
Right.
We only saw that for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the first period. We just didn't see it enough tonight.
No, you're absolutely right, Izzy. I think back to probably the first shift of the game from the third line, from the Morgan Barron, Adam Lowry, Mason Appleton line, where they went in there and they cycled a bit and they forced some turnovers and they really forechecked hard. That was it. I mean, and this isn't to call that line out specifically, because there is certainly blame all throughout the Jets lineup, but you just didn't see enough of the Jets trying to play the game on their terms. The Stars were able to play the game that they wanted to play, and the Jets didn't have a pushback. They didn't have a response. They weren't able to find that next level that you need to find when you're playing against a team like Dallas, a team that's playing with tons of confidence, a team that's off to a great start to the season. You need to step your game up a bit, and the Jets just weren't able to do that after that initial 5 to 7 minute flurry that started tonight's game. Betway game recap continues. We'll get into the third period. Before we do that, the illegal curve code word of the day. We've been telling you folks about the great contests we're running. We're going to give away a jersey before the
winner's already picked.
The winner's already picked. So we're going to announce the winner of the Heritage Classics jersey, but another contest starts just that quickly. So
it's a really creative secret word, Dave.
I know. Dave went deep into the box to pull out that secret word.
I wanted people to know. I wanted people to think illegal curve.
So at the bottom in the show description, you'll see a link there. Just click that link. You'll see how you can enter the contest, all the different tasks that you can do to generate more ballots, more entries, more opportunities to win. One of them is to enter in the secret word. Today's secret word, all in caps, one word, illegal curve. Put it in there. You're going to get ballots. You're going to get entries. Every time you comment, every time you retweet, every time you favorite, every time you visit the website and you visit the YouTube channel and you do all these things, you get more entries. We're going to give away another prize package later on this month.
We're not saying you should be a subscriber. We're not saying you should be a subscriber, because we can't, but you should be a subscriber.
There you go. It will benefit you to subscribe. So today's illegal curve contest code word is all one word, all caps, illegal curve. let's get into the third period here.
By
on
the way,
Bet
Colby
Ready.
Spence, our photographer, asked if he could have a toque, and he doesn't have to like win one because he's one of the best photographers that are out there. So Colby, don't worry, we'll hook you up with a toque.
There you go. We'll hook up Colby, who does a great job for us. Yes, our photos. If you check out the photos that Colby snaps for us on our Instagram feed, in fact,
You'll get bonus points. You'll get entries.
Bonus points when you go to our Instagram. So check out our Instagram at Illegal Curve.
We got to give a shout out to Alexander James as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
We got a collection of great photographers who do great work for us. So be sure to check that out on our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter, YouTube channel. You know how to find us everywhere. Do that, get entries, win prizes. It's all fun and games here, is what we're saying. The Dallas Stars wrapped up the goal scoring in tonight's game. It came at the 8:12 mark of the third period. Miro Heiskanen, his second of the year, assist to Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson. This is the one with Logan Stanley in the box just after the Jets had killed off the Pierre-Luc Dubois penalty. You could see the frustration setting in. Dubois takes a very bad penalty, deep in the offensive zone, just a frustration penalty, takes a slashing penalty. Stars go on the power play. Logan Stanley takes a penalty, I think, slashing Joe Pavelski, if I'm not mistaken, in the Jets D zone while shorthanded. Brief 5-on-3, about an 8-second 5-on-3. The Jets were able to kill that off, but with before the Stanley penalty ends, Heiskanen with a shot from the point that deflected, and it looked like it deflected off of Brendan Dillon. It's actually funny. You go back and watch the replay of that. All the traffic that's in front of Connor Hellebuck is Jets jerseys. It's like the Jets provided 3 or 4 different guys on the screen there, which is a bit of a tale of tonight's contest from the Winnipeg Jets perspective.
Yeah, it absolutely. We rewatched it here a couple times. It went off of Brendan Dillon, and you look at this goal, and this was just kind of textbook power play movement, right? Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, Miro Heiskanen, Joe Pavelski, Jamie Benn was in front of the net there. Like, the Stars are a good team. And well, like, I'll admit, when I was kind of doing a preview, probably, in my own head, because we didn't do a full, team by team, division by division preview, I was kind of thinking like Dallas is one of those teams. And I might've said this on the Saturday show. Dallas is one of those teams that, I could see the Jets passing this year, right? Like, I just don't think, Nashville, to me, it's convincing that, they've gotten significantly worse. In fact, I think they've gotten significantly better with Ryan McDonough and Nito Niederreiter. But just back to the Stars team here, like, they have a lot of dangerous weapons, and, but they're also a little bit enigmatic, right? Like, there's some players that, we know can get cold and go on some scoring slumps, right? But on this goal, it was just on display here. And Dallas, I mean, that was the final nail in the coffin. But it's an unfortunate penalty for Logan Stanley, who we mentioned took the penalty in the first period, interference or whatever it was, on Ty Dellandrea. So just, a rough night for Stanley, and most likely means Sandberg's coming in the lineup for Game 3.
A rough night for the Jets all around, Dave. There was not a lot that you would like in tonight's game. The first 5 minutes put some smiles on some faces, but really the last 55 minutes of tonight's game was fairly one-sided. The power play for the Jets also not clicking, just looked like it was, I don't know if tentative is the right word, but it just wasn't crisp. It didn't have a lot of movement. I saw one of the comments was multiple times, Nikolai Ehlers looked like he was trying to feather passes through 8 different legs of 8 different pairs of skates. Or 8 different skates, 4 different pairs of skates to try and and get a perfect shot. It just wasn't working for the Jets tonight. To sort of I think a back to the drawing board game. And you can't let it snowball. You can't let, one poor effort become 2, become 3, become 4, because you look at the schedule ahead and you got the defending Stanley Cup champions on Wednesday. You got a Vegas Golden Knights team that's off to a good start on Thursday.
Then you got Toronto.
Yeah, but in Toronto, I mean, they lost to Arizona tonight, so you can pretty much put that as a bingo space, free space on the bingo card. I say with my tongue firmly in cheek.
Yeah, no, I mean, Dallas has been a bit of a wasteland for the Jets in the last couple of years. This is now 7 games in a row where they haven't had a victory. I think it was 3 losses and 3 overtime losses or shootout loss, and now add a loss to that. So it's been a bit of a wasteland for the Jets going into Dallas, which, I think I was going to say, I was thinking about it today when I was tweeting from the account. It's, we have to go back to the Furry days when when it was a little more fun, what's going on in Dallas and stuff like that, when the Jets were having fun themselves, winning games in the Big D. But I mean, I guess the one benefit is the fact that it was a collectively bad loss from this team. Like, I don't think the Jets played well as a group, really. And that second line was invisible for the most part. The fourth line barely played.
There was one pass. There was a nice pass from Perfetti. I think he set up Wheeler with one nice pass, and then Wheeler fired it wide. But aside from that, you're right. It was
completely invisible. They were completely invisible. The third line was fine. Like, it was the first line was the only noticeable line.
Well, I thought, I think of all the Jets forwards, I thought Morgan Barron had probably the best game. I thought he was noticeable for a lot of it. I mean, that's a bit of damning with faint praise.
Yeah.
At least he was the one who at least stood out to me as bringing the most energy and bringing the most effectiveness maybe on the forecheck.
Over
the course of the game.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a couple of instances where Mason Appleton had some, drive, and I think he drew that penalty in the third. There's some things that they did okay, but I just think, like, as a collective group, I think the game that they wanted to implement, the game they talked about implementing, was the game we saw in the first 10 minutes of the first period. And then that went by the wayside, and we saw a return to kind of Winnipeg Jets hockey of being dominated, not controlling the puck, not relying on Connor Hellebuyck. And I don't have a problem with you relying on Connor Hellebuyck because he's the top 5 goaltender in the National Hockey League. But you can't rely on Connor Hellebuyck and screen Connor Hellebuyck and not block shots. If you're going to block the shot. Don't screen the goaltender, not block the shot, and then stand there like an idiot going, well, ooh, I guess the puck's in the back of the net. Like, that's what happened tonight too many times. Yeah. And like I said, the Jets collectively weren't good. And sure, I like the comment I just isolated, or I put up on the screen. It is only game 2. I mean, you're not hitting that old panic button, but it just wasn't. It seemed like the team embraced what the new mantra was going to be, and then a little adversity, a little pushback from Dallas, a little swarming by Dallas, and suddenly it was like the Jets kind of forgot everything they were supposed to know, and it went back to the old Jets hockey of old, and that's not going to be with this group. Right now, it's not going to be enough to get the win. So that's the one thing you have to watch for, and that's the one thing you have to caution, is that this team needs to play within a certain framework, within a certain identity. And if they're not going to do that, and if Connor Hellebuyck is going to get screened like that, I mean, again, he's another worldly goaltender, but there's only so many saves he can make if he can't see the puck. So that to me is what they need to work on really for game 3 against Colorado.
You're right, Dave. And against Colorado, if you don't come out to play, I mean, this goes without saying against any team, right? But I mean, the Colorado Avalanche will put 2 or 3 goals by you by the time you can even, say Jamie Langenbrunner, right? So I mean, they're going to have to step up their game, elevate their game against Colorado, and they can. I mean, look, at everyone is going to pick the Avalanche in this game, right? Unless you look at the Betway odds and you like those Betway odds and you bet on the Jets, right? But look, we saw the Jets get absolutely steamrolled. What was it, 7-1 last year towards the end of the season by the Avalanche? And yeah, sure, the Avalanche lost a few players, guys, but like,
they're still
the best team in the league. I don't care what anybody says. You can tell me, you like Calgary. You can tell me you like Carolina, everything like that. I mean, offensively and defensively, Colorado is the best team in the league. It's going to be hard for them to repeat, but the Jets are going to have to be much, much better on Wednesday.
We will talk about that after the break, but before we finish up, first of all, this has been the Betway Game Recap, brought to you by our friends at Betway, the official title sponsor of the Illegal Curve post-game show. It's simple, fun, and safe to bet with Betway, so head on over to Betway and bet your way. Must be 19 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. We mentioned that the new secret code word is Illegal Curve, all one word. Dave M., you have selected, not you personally, but using the magic random generator that we've invested many, many millions of dollars in, we have a winner of the Heritage Classic jersey. And again, folks, if you don't win the Heritage Classic jersey, be sure to continue to enter the contest. Be sure to enter the code words. Do all your tasks, because we're continually giving away prizes all throughout the season.
Not just prizes, though. I think, like I was mentioning this to Dave. We should mention Dave has boxes of Jets Heritage Classic jerseys. So they're not just other prizes. Like, we have lots of Heritage Classic jerseys to give away. This is a good thing. Everyone should be super pumped up. We basically have too many jerseys and not enough opportunities to give them away. So just wanted to throw that in there. We're going to be not only giving a Heritage Classic jersey away tonight, but the next night, the next night, the next night. Tons of jerseys.
Dave M., the winner of the first Heritage Classic jersey. He's giving me the 1 second sign. I thought this was all queued up. I thought this was all ready to go. Dave M needs more time. He wants to draw it out. He wants to check again with the accounting firm to make sure this is all on the up and up.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, right?
I'm not sure. It depends on. I'm not sure which firm.
Might be Ernst & Young. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's many out there that we could have used. Dave M., are you ready? You've unmuted yourself.
Yes. I unmuted myself, although I just lost my. I was creating a banner to declare the winner. So in case he didn't hear this, but he would see it. Shane Kapik of Winnipeg is the first winner of the Illegal Curve contest. So Shane, you're going to take an authentic Winnipeg Jets Heritage Classic jersey, wear it in good health, and you are the first winner, as he just said, first winner of many. So Shane Kapik, congratulations on your entry. We had a ton of entries. We had so many people enter. So many people took part in all the different tasks you could do. And so
here's Shane. He's in the chat. He just said Yahoo. Assuming it's the same. Assuming it's the same Shane.
The beauty of
Might be a different Shane, and he's just happy for other Shane's happiness.
It's true.
That's true.
What they say. Rising tides lift all Shanes.
Well, the beauty of the current
is that a saying?
No, I don't think so. But the beauty of the way this contest works now is that we don't have to randomly assume that this Shane is the right Shane, because we actually know who the right Shane is. So we've got verification of that. I will email Shane for his mailing address so we can send. If it is a Shane, that's a good sign, because that means Shane's listening, and maybe he'll want to enter this next contest as well.
Congrats, Shane.
Keep rolling. But lots of chances to win, and like I said, we're having a blast doing this. We're really excited to be able to give to the people who support us. So we appreciate that. And enter the next contest. It's live. And like I said, there's 8 more chances to win jerseys, hats, t-shirts. So that'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, the only way you can win is by entering. So go down there and do that in the description. And by the way, also smash the like button also if you can.
Well, while you're there, you might as well do that. Exactly right. Look at the description, follow the link. That's going to be your ticket to winning the next contest that we run here on the Illegal Curve post.
And for the record, someone just said
this Ponzi scheme is off to a great start, by the way.
But for the record, someone said too many tasks. The truth is, you don't have to do all the tasks. Nope. I mean, as my dad always says, you don't have to buy a million lottery tickets to win. You just need one.
That's right. If you don't want to do all the tasks, the tasks just give you extra entries. You only want to do one task. You can only want to be entered once. You only have to do one thing.
We're not asking people to vacuum or do the dishes. We're giving them more opportunities to win beautiful Heritage Classic jerseys.
There
These
you
are
go.
Good
That's
tasks.
So do as many of the tasks as you want. Do as few of the tasks as you want. It's up to you. Just we're giving you more opportunities the more tasks that you do. We'll head to break. When we come back, we're going to give away another prize. Of course, the Tough Duck Toque for the hardest hitting comment. Much more on tonight's Jets and Stars game. We'll look ahead to Wednesday, of course, against the Colorado Avalanche. Don't go anywhere. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. Smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Congratulations to Shane Kapik, the winner of the first Heritage Classic jersey. Much more to come. Don't go anywhere. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Jon Stewart, Dennis Miller, Brad Garrett, the biggest acts and all the up-and-comers. They've all made their mark at Rumors Comedy Club, North America's longest-running independent comedy club. Rumors has kept Winnipeg laughing for over 25 years. When was the last time you laughed out loud? Make it a great night out with friends or book your office or birthday party, even a fundraising event at Rumors. Get all the details and dates on upcoming shows at rumorscomedyclub.com.
He winds up. Oh, looks like Ezzy took that one right in the choppers.
A blistering fast puck hurts like HE double hockey sticks. That's why I let the pros at Linden Market Dental Center turn my yow into
wow.
Get your brilliant smile back with state-of-the-art restorative and cosmetic dentistry from real pros.
And remember, always wear a mouth guard.
Now that's solid on ice advice. Learn more at lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Dave, my man, why are you in the car already? It's hours until game time.
Drew, it's because I'm stressed out right now, driving around downtown Winnipeg, looking for a parking spot, and I'm not finding one. I've lost Ginsburg. I don't even know where that guy is right now.
Dave, haven't I taught you anything? Do what I do. Pre-book your entire month's worth of game day parking with the Grid Park app. It's super easy to use and saves me both time and stress.
Well, Drew, I'm not independently wealthy like you are. So I'm sorry that I don't have millions of dollars to pre-book my parking month in advance. What's that going to cost you? $25?
How about $5?
Come on, $5? No
Yep,
way.
$5. I'm not telling you a lie. And our listeners can get a free park with the new special promo code Illegal Curve. Guess what? There's more.
Come on, there's more, Drew. You're lying to me. What more could there be?
Grid Park now has underground parking, so my car can stay warm during the game.
So wait a second. All the driving around I do, looking for parking, minus 40, you're telling me I could be toasty warm in a car after the hockey game?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Underground parking. Just download the Grid Park app. That's GRYD Park and use the code Illegal Curve. All one word. You'll park for free your first time.
Hi, it's Drew from Illegal Curve here. Selling your home can be stressful, but it wasn't for me. Thanks to my friends at Zappia Group Realty, they made the process so easy. My home sold within 48 hours and with multiple offers. Zappia Group Realty took care of everything with their exquisite customer service and attention to detail. If you want to sell your home for more in less time, get started by talking to Frank and Mauro Zappia of Zappia Group Realty. Online at zappiagroup.com.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the Illegal Curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. We're back on the Illegal Curve post-game show, brought to you by Betway. Dave Minuk in the top right, Ezzy Ginsburg in the bottom middle. I'm your host, Drew Mindell, here to talk about more about the Jets' loss tonight to the Dallas Stars. The Jets handled by their Central Division rival with a fair bit of simplicity. Here's a quote I found, courtesy our buddy Scott Billick. This is from Jets head coach, or Jets associate coach, Scott Arneal, who's acting as head coach. Quote, "Our whole premise of our D-zone coverage is protecting the guts of the ice. We let people get in there alone. We let them get some pretty good looks. That Sagan goal was us looking around and not finding the most dangerous guy." I mean, we remember the struggles the Jets had all last year about protecting the high danger zone. Clearly, they're the point of emphasis is on that, not letting that happen time and time again. It did tonight, so a little bit back to the drawing board for the Winnipeg Jets, as it did not work well tonight, and that's what happens when you got a team that's trying to get rid of bad habits. They have a way of always creeping back, and we saw that very often tonight for the Jets, gentlemen.
Yeah, and Pierre-Luc Dubois is one of those forwards, along with Mark Scheifele, along with Kyle Connor, the Jets' best forwards, that you just can't see that type of play, because you're gonna see that really hurt you as the season progresses. Obviously, they lost the game, so it hurt them tonight. But it's like you said, those bad habits you don't want to see in the first 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever games of the season, right? Mm-hmm. So they just weren't sharp. Like, sometimes you have to just say that, boys, right? Like, the Jets just didn't bring their cliche A game. That just wasn't their A game. And I don't even know if that was Dallas's A game. Like, it's not like Dallas, played otherworldly or anything like that. Dallas just played much better than the Jets did.
They have
I think the Stars have another level to get to as well. They just capitalized on their mistakes, scored a power play goal when the game was pretty much already over. That just sealed the deal. The Jets were going to come back, score 3 goals, and tie the game up in the third period the way they were playing, right? But it all fell apart in the second period for me.
They have a greater margin of error. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Good teams have a greater margin of error. How many games have we seen the Bombers play where they haven't necessarily played to their peak performance, but they're a good team that just knows how to find a way to win. The Jets aren't that team right now. The Jets, to be successful, the Jets to win, Dave, have to almost do everything right. Or more often than not, they have to be right. They're not one of those teams that can play poorly or play a mediocre game and find a way to win. They're just not that team right now, and they have to constantly sort of remind themselves and constantly buy into the fact that they need to be precise, and they need to have precision to their efforts in order to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately you have to think to yourself, you have a game plan for a reason. You have a structure for a reason. And what you did last year didn't work last year. And you can make up all the excuses for why it didn't work. But at the same time, you didn't make the playoffs because of what happened last year. So if you're just going to repeat what you did last year with the same team, the likelihood is you're not going to make the playoffs again because you're doing the exact same thing. So
look,
the whole point.
Sorry, when I was going to say that if that's what happens, if they do the same thing they did last year, they're just going to be fishing earlier than they want to be.
Yeah, I don't know why you needed to interrupt me to do that, but
I was segueing you in.
I'm bugging you.
Segueing you in for the
ice fishing. I'm bugging you. I just didn't like the segue because I was in the middle of kind of a thought, Drew. Sorry. So, I mean, sure, I know where I'm going to be November 5th and 6th. Do you know where you're going to be November 5th and 6th?
I think it's the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Convention.
That's right, the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show, because we're going to be gearing up for the hard water season at the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show, November 5th and 6th at Red River X Place. Dozens of retailers will be on site with your favorite lures, electronics, ice shelters, augers, winter apparel, and more. Expert speakers, not us, a kids scavenger hunt, and prize draws, which we know all about. $10 admission at the door. Kids 12 and under are free, and you can come out and meet us because we are going to be doing our Saturday show from 9 to 11. That's on November 5th. We'll be at Red River X Place to do that. So come meet us. We'll have some stuff to give away. I got tons of Seagram swag still from last year, but we were going to hopefully host something. We never got a chance to do that. So November 5th and 6th, the Winnipeg Ice Fishing Show. Join us, the Illegal Curve crew, and many other people. It's actually going to be a really cool event. So that's in a couple of Saturdays and Sundays from now.
Yeah, so if you ever wanted to make sure we're actually human and not actually cartoon characters, as you might think by watching the show time and time again, November 5th, you will be live on location. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. You're drunk now, Maul. Come down and check us out. Meet us in person. You can even see Ezzy live and in person. And let me tell you, folks, that is a thrill that is not to be passed up whatsoever. Ezzy, you have a Tough Duck hardest hitting comment, and it's who are you giving out the prize to tonight?
Wow, the contests just keep flying. The giveaways just keep flying. We're going to give it to Rob Mahoney. Rob is a loyal IC viewer / listener. Always brings a lot of good comments, brings a lot of good energy. I think I sent you the comment there, Drew. It was from about 10 minutes ago. Like this comment from Rob. Nice thing about these 4 tough early games is it's a good litmus test for the Jets. Jets' first 10 minutes tonight and first and third periods against the Rangers show they can compete with top teams. And look, I agree with Rob. I said this on the Saturday show. I like the fact that the Jets have a tough schedule to begin, right? Like we talked about, you've got the Avalanche and Golden Knights coming up Wednesday, Thursday, and then you've got the Leafs at home, and then you've got the Blues. Like, this is a tough start to the schedule. I don't know how else you can say it. And the Jets got the first game out of the way, and tonight they got the good start, but they just really didn't carry that into the second or third period. So, Rob, send me an email, Ezra@illegalcurve.com. You can also slide into my DMs, ICSEG, and you send me your mailing address, and then Tough Duck will ship out a toque to you. So, way to go, Rob.
There you go, Rob. Congratulations.
And if Rob, by the way, Rob, if you follow Ezzy, so not only do you win the Tough Duck toque, but you also get a bonus point in the entry for a Jets jersey or a toque or a shirt.
Rob, I'll give you 75 bonus points right now. I have no idea what that means.
He doesn't have the ability to do that, Rob, so don't take what Ezzy's saying to heart. There's no 75 bonus points.
But you can see how everything feeds into everything else.
Yes.
and it all feeds one into another, into another.
This is going to be the best Ponzi scheme ever.
And it culminates with the one and the only.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Moose played 2 games this weekend. Dave M was at both of them. Moose won one, then they lost one in a shootout or in overtime, whatever it was. Dave M will give us a quick recap about what happened this weekend.
Well, I don't know how quick my recap will be, but I'll try.
It might have been wishful thinking on my part.
I'll try and be succinct. I mean, there were 2 games. It was the home opener and the rematch between the Moose and the Ice Hogs. A lot of excitement, a lot of players still on the roster. So, you're seeing some guys who are really good. Jeff Malott, Nicholas Jones, remember the lunch pit line. They sat in game 2 because, of course, they needed to get some other guys in the roster. The Moose looked like they were flying. They looked like they hadn't missed a beat. They, got out to a lead in the first game, built it up to 3-0 going into the third period. So Arvid Holm had looked really good. Chaz Lucius scored his first pro goal. He looked good. Brad Lambert had some touches. So you thought to yourself, okay, there's a lot of excitement here. There's a lot of reason for, Daniel Torgerson, he scored. Henry Nikkanen. It's funny, when I remember one of the development camps with Henry Nikkanen 3-4 years ago, or maybe not 4 years ago, because he was drafted in 2019. And he's the kid who he was originally a first round projection, but he got injured in his draft year. So he went to the Jets in the 4th round. But you can see that fire in him. And he talked about Mikko Koivu being his idol. And, obviously Koivu was a great captain for the Wild and very defensive forward. So you see that, and Nikkanen is being used a lot on the penalty kill. So there's a lot of players, you don't necessarily watch the points they accumulate. It's what they do. Like Simon Lundmark, for example, the 2019 second rounder, he made a phenomenal pass to set up Kevin Stenlund on a breakaway. Something that doesn't result in a goal. So you don't really get notification. Like, he doesn't get any sort of accolades for that pass because most people don't pay attention to it. But most people aren't. Dave Minuk, I was paying attention for you. So you'd know that Simon Lundmark made a nice pass, and he's got kind of that good vision. And that's one thing you want to know from, one of the up and coming right shot defensemen in the Jet system. Of course, the Moose, had the lead in the third period, blew it. So it was 3-2. Then Lucas Reichel, the 2019 second rounder, for Chicago. It's also the cousin of Christian Reichel.
Sounds right.
One's from Germany, one's from Czechia. But the point is that Lucas Reichel scored. Then actually Christian Reichel scored to give the Moose the lead again. So it was kind of funny. The cousins scored very close to each other, but a 4-3 lead. They tied it up late with the goalie pull to make it 4-4. And then the Moose, actually kind of controversial because Ville Heinola scored with about a minute to go, but the review just wasn't conclusive. I was sitting above the net. I saw it go in, but I don't make the call, so it doesn't matter what I say. It went to overtime. Rockford took it.
Have you petitioned to be both the Moose insider and goal judge simultaneously? Because I think you could do it. I have faith in your ability to be both roles at the same time.
I think I could do it. Yeah, probably. I'll hit that little button. But anyways, so game 2 rematch wasn't looking good because it was the Ice Hogs who were taking it to the Moose, unlike in game 1. And you didn't know what you were going to see per se, but Moose eventually got it going, and I'm not going to give you play-by-play, blow-by-blow, but the fact is Brad Lambert scored his first goal for the AHL. It was a beauty goal. Now, I don't want people to get too excited, of course, because thank you very much. I agree. But it's important that these guys get some touches and they get the plays, but I don't want people to be like, okay, Brad Lambert scored in the AHL. He's ready to go to the NHL. Kid has a lot to learn about playing here in North America. The most exciting thing about that game yesterday afternoon at the Canada Life was the play of Oskari Salminen. He was excellent in net for the goal. 32 save shutout in total. I mean, it was a 4-0 game for Manitoba, but that leads a little deceiving because it was 1-0 Jansen Harkins shorthanded goal. One of the things that Rick Bowness wants Harkins to do is to play on the penalty kill. So that was one thing that we saw Jansen Harkins doing, a lot of penalty kill minutes for the Moose. He scored a beauty shorthanded goal. And then Brad Lambert coming out of the penalty box, he scored a gorgeous goal going bar down. And then Kevin Stenlund actually scored to make 3-0. Evan Poli icing on the cake. He was actually very good yesterday in the game as well. So the Moose kind of got rolling. The score's a little bit deceiving, but look, they take 3 of 4 to start the season against the division rival Rockford Ice Hogs. And now they'll be rolling to Milwaukee, Chicago, and Rockford for a 3-game series later in this week.
Well, wanted to get one thing in here. Quickly about that game. I wasn't at the game, just caught the highlights, but also caught the post-game presser, Dave, which was dominated by you. I think you got in 4 or 5 questions with Harkins.
Wait, are you talking about on Sunday, is he? I think I was the only media guy there. That's why.
Yeah, I was talking about Sunday. Love to see that, right? Because Harkins is obviously a guy that we thought a few weeks ago had a really good chance at the very least being one of the Jets' 13 forwards. Didn't play the first Moose game, as you mentioned, Dave.
Yeah.
And then he gets the game-winning goal on a beautiful shorthanded goal, right? And what I really liked about what he said was hockey. He said something along the lines of hockey's hockey, right? Like he seems like a guy who has accepted the fact. I mean, not that he has a choice, but he's accepted the fact that he's down with the Moose right now, and he's going to do his best to get back up with the Jets. And if there's a couple injuries, with the Jets forwards, Jansen Harkins will be one of the first guys called up, along with Dominic Toninato, Essie Mont, Jeff Malott, like the veteran guys on the Moose.
Kevin Stenlund,
maybe Stenlund, maybe Brad Lambert gets called up at some point during the season. But you got to think Lambert and Lucius, there's a good chance they're going to spend the majority of the season with the American Hockey League. So I just really liked, Jansen Harkins after the game, just his attitude and just a really nice goal. Even though, you don't want to be in the AHL right now, he's, making the best of it.
Well, you're right, Ezzy, and that's what he said. He basically said, like, I'd rather be playing hockey than not, and that's, he said, like, I need to get my conditioning back, and not literally that, but that idea of getting some games, some minutes in, and he knows he's going to play a lot in the American League team. So I mean, ultimately, that's not where he wants to be. He hasn't played in the AHL in a few years, of course, so he knows where he wants to be. But that's the wake up call sometimes these guys need, right? I mean, people forget Adam Lowry needed a wake up call. He was sent down to the Moose. And again, a lot of times guys don't necessarily go back up because of what they do with the Moose. They sometimes get the luck of the draw. Adam Lowry got called up because the Jets had an injury, right? But he got that wake-up call. Andrew Kopp, same thing. He was up with the Jets, got sent down. These guys don't like it. Don't necessarily have to have a bad attitude, which they don't. But the point is you don't have to want to be there. You just have to be able to successfully do what you need to do to get back up. And that's what they do. And once they've kind of got that punishment, if you will, of being sent down, most guys don't want it again, and they kind of learn their lesson.
Yeah, exactly right. And as you said, it's good to see Jansen Harkins channeling that energy into a positive for the Moose, because that he prefers to be at the NHL level, and that's obviously going to be his motivating
He'll be back
factor.
in the NHL. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Well, he's got to work at it. He's got to work at his craft like anybody else, and he might need some fine tuning, as Dave was saying, to get back to the NHL level. In any event, there's your Manuk Moose Minute, the Moose in action later this week as they head out on the road, and of course, we'll have that covered for you on illegalcurve.com, and likely be a Manuk Moose Minute sprinkled in here or there, potentially on one of the post game shows Wednesday or Thursday or Saturday's Illegal Curve Hockey Show. So that, as I said, a reminder: Wednesday night, the Jets back in action. They're going to be in Colorado. Post-game show back here on our YouTube channel. What time's the
And
game
you're
on?
getting your Stanley Cup ring, I think, on Wednesday, right, Drew?
Oh, even I'm getting mine? Is that what you said?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I expected that. I've been waiting for it. I keep waiting for it to arrive in the mail, and it just never does. So hopefully it'll be here on Wednesday, so I can wear it. I can wear it. To
As he has
Wednesday
two Devils
post-game
ones, so I mean, it's not.
true.
He'd fill out. Thank you.
Look, if Lawless
Call
can
me
have a
Jay
great cup
Pandolfo.
ring, if Lawless can have a great cup ring, why can't we have Stanley Cup rings, right? I don't remember him
Mostly
playing,
because we don't work for teams.
Well, that's a good reason, I suppose. That's a fair reason.
I wanted Maccabi B championship as the first overall pick, so I'll take that any day.
Well, and congratulations. Anyways, post
And the
game.
show is over.
Yeah, post game on Wednesday night. It'll be right around let's say 9:30 or so, give or take a couple minutes on either side of that. So be sure to be back here on our YouTube channel on Wednesday night for post game on the Jets and the Avalanche. Reminder: contest, the secret code word for tonight: Illegal Curve. All one word. Enter that. Tell your friends, tell your family about all the great stuff happening.
For the
here
record,
on
Drew, you
Illegal
get extra
Curve.
bonus points if you tell other people about it and they sign up. You get bonus points for that.
There you go. More entries. The more things you do. That's
More
why
anything?
More everything.
More
That's why we
Is it true that you
encourage
get
to
bonus
keep doing
points
it.
if you can tap your head and rub your stomach at the same time?
If you can do it, Ezzy, we'll give you bonus points. Yeah, we will reward you with bonus points in that effect. Big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post game show, the Saturday show, the website a possibility. Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Betway. They're the title sponsor of this here post game show. Tough Duck, Boston Pizza, Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer, Grid Park, and the Keg support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. Big thank you to all of you for joining us here on the post-game show. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button. If you haven't, boy, Spencer Sutton says he'll rub Ezzy's belly. Spencer, be careful what you wish for, because he will take you up on that offer.
And I've got pictures. You don't necessarily want to get too close.
You just stay away, Spencer. Stay away. Find God. Find something. Find religion. Find anything other than that.
Look, Jeff's talking about the milk again. Jeff's always on the milk. I love it.
Yeah. In any event, thank you folks for joining us. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends, tell your family. The best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game, and Saturday mornings at 9:00 is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Illegal Curve post-game show, brought to you by Betway.